Hello and welcome. Welcome back to the Youth Group Reunion Tour podcast. I'm Mikey B.
I'm JC, Jared.
And today we are going to talk about something that's absolutely critical to the Christian experience. And no, I'm not talking about faith or anything like that.
Belief that Jesus came and died for your sins and paid your way into heaven.
Yeah, that also.
So not that then.
We're talking about only essential stuff
But
here.
something that also would, disqualify you from heaven if you didn't believe in it. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's up there. It's maybe not number one, but it's definitely like 4 or 5.
Top, yeah, it's probably sitting around 5.
Yeah.
This is especially important to dads that might be volunteering with youth group in a way to relate to their kids or the other kids in youth group.
Yeah, and not just dads, but moms too. My mom was a big proponent of this thing that we're going to talk about.
Yes, my mom for sure had at least 2 that I can remember, of these.
And the point of these were to be a witness, right? Without actually having to use words, right? I believe
literally the least you could do.
Literally the least you can do. And I honestly can't think of any specific examples where someone had a conversation because of these things, but you never know.
I will say that I did get that opportunity, and I'll share that story later on.
Wow, great.
Towards the end.
So
multiple times I got that opportunity. It was so jarring that people were forced to ask me about it.
Wow. So I was going to let this segment play on a little bit longer, but now I really have to know.
We can keep it going without saying the topic of the time. I know you've already read the title of this podcast episode, but I think we could keep it going. We could keep dancing around it for a few more minutes.
Okay. All right. Fine. We'll keep dancing. You have 2 minutes to dance.
Okay. I've oversold this. I can't do 2 minutes. Let's just call it. I can't do it.
Okay. All right. Well, we're giving up.
All right. It's Christian T-shirts. It's Christian novelty T-shirts.
Christian novelty T-shirts are so important because they were sold as a way to witness without having to actually witness, right?
You don't let them come to you.
Exactly. It was like inbound marketing, except for Christianity.
We're gonna trick them into talking to us about Jesus because they think we have a shirt on that's supporting Heinz ketchup. But surprise, look a little bit closer what the words on there are.
Exactly, right. It was the perfect thing because at a glance, you'd be like, oh,
that person is really into ketchup.
It was definitely a trend to do Christian parody T-shirts, and to this day, I really don't know about the legal logistics of how you can sell 1 million T-shirts with a very obvious logo on it. Yeah. That's a parody. I guess parody was protected by the Weird Al Yankovic laws and things like that, but it just seems odd to me that they were just able to operate with impunity. If you could think of it, there was a Christian pun or parody version that existed at some point in time. It may not have been popular.
Also, I want to say, it's insane that people were able to get these shirts before. The internet existed, but it was a lot harder to order things on it at the time. And these were abundant at our church. Which means they were either buying them at Christian bookstores, which I guess they could have been doing, or getting had someone dealing them somewhere somehow.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. Today we think
now
of
it'd be so easy to do, but at the time I was, where are you getting that shirt from? It's such a niche thing. How did you get it?
Yeah, there's an Instagram account out there now. It's called Facebook Shirts. Are you familiar with that account?
I am not, but okay. I would like to be.
So Facebook Shirts is basically that there are these companies and print factories that are basically one step above print on demand. And so they hyper target people with these really wordy shirts, and for some reason people like them and want to buy them. And let me give an example of a Facebook shirt. Yeah. So a Facebook shirt would be I'm 42 years old, born in September. My plumbing hobby is more than a hobby. It's a career. I'm also a welder. That's right. And I'm right-handed too. Yeah. Call us the Smiths. It's super hyper targeted, but T-shirts that are for those. I'll try to find a better example while you react to that. But
maybe once you get me the template, I can make up my own. Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's make them up for each other. Find us the template. And then I'll make one for you, and you make one for me.
Okay, yeah, it's at Facebook Shirts. There's 104,000 followers, and so there's a lot of different things in here. But I just think that the original intention of this page was that it was hyper hyper focused Facebook type of advertising. And I just feel like there's a lot of crossover. It's a lot more common to see shirts like these today. You're going to have to kind of scroll back pretty far to find some of those like examples in there. I'm looking at one halfway down. I'm going to read this. It says, "Yes, I'm a volcanologist. I am unskilled with horses. I destroy every deep dish pizza I see. I was born in July. If you don't like this rat dad, move." Like, it's just... There's other words in there that I skipped over, but basically the point is like these are these like most ridiculous things. But the easiest example to think of like, there's a classic trope on this Facebook shirts page of like this skull guy with guns. And one of them says, "As a June guy, I can be as mean as F." And like, what's a June guy, right?
I just found this one I want to share with you. It says, "Heck yeah, I love EDM, eating dang meatballs."
Okay, this went off the rails very quickly.
Sorry, how far in are we?
No, we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I found it. It says, all right. I think we could do this. I think we could come up with one for each other.
Okay.
If you want to try it.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break. We're gonna write up these shirts. We'll be right back.
Okay.
It'll be no time at all for you and a few minutes for us.
All right. To confess your sins. Okay, and we're back.
All right,
that was fun.
Yeah, we took a couple minutes. We've got some true works of art on our hands here.
Okay, I started half the process in the allotted time. I started designing it with one of those t-shirt designer makers. I'll probably spend some more time, maybe post it on Instagram.
Okay, I did not do that. I just
thing.
wrote the words. But if you want to make it on Make Mine Too, you can.
Yeah, I'm in a bit of a creative rut here. Obviously, I'm doing a podcast, right? I need to get some creative juices flowing, so I got to design something.
And we may not have mentioned this, but one of the things that these shirts have in common is a lot of them are like super aggressive. They're like, "How dare you not think that I am this thing?" And I'm gonna like you're disrespecting me by not believing that I have red hair, and it's hurt my feelings, and I'm gonna lash out because of it.
It's very aggressive. All right, I want to hear mine, so go ahead with yours.
So this is gonna be the shirt that you would wear.
Okay.
It says, "Have I got a soul patch? You know it, baby. And yeah, I'm a white hat hacker, and I've got a doodle named Calvin. So what? Having Croatian ancestors isn't the only thing Stipe Miocic and I have in common. I kicked the Jonas Brothers out of their own chat room, and if you're not careful, I'll do the same to you."
That's great. I just wanted just like a giant skull, like with a fiery chain on it, saying those things, and I definitely, absolutely would wear it. So I love it. Thank you. I appreciate
no problem, Mike.
So yours, I took a kinder tone.
Okay.
Yours says, "Never underestimate a married rugby coach born in Ohio." That's right. He has a beard, goes to warehouse raves, and believes that through Christ all things can strengthen him. Got to tie it back to the Christian t-shirts as well. Now, great. Someone might naively think that you can't be a Christian and have a beard and go to raves as well. But, the fact of the matter is they are hyper-targeted, and, you have that so personally ingrained into you that this is your t-shirt that you're wearing.
Also, this is a story for another day, but I just want to let everyone know that is a true story. Mike did kick the Jonas Brothers out of their own chat room one time. It's not a story for today, but it is true, and it's amazing.
It's a MySpace story.
Yes.
Yep. No one even knows what MySpace is anymore. That's how long the Jonas Brothers have been around.
Rest in power, Tom Anderson.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
he's not actually dead, but
No, he's just living the best. He honestly has
living
the best.
His best life.
Yeah, he is living the dream, I think. So getting back to Christian t-shirts. So Christian t-shirts are basically the precursor to these Facebook t-shirts, right? And so to me, where you got Christian t-shirts were from, there's a local Christian bookstore, And there also was an online site. This was like in the very early days of e-commerce. And you may not remember this, but it was called CBD.com.
Now, do not.
Nowadays, you think of CBD as...
That's probably a premium website if they still own that.
No, they don't own that anymore.
But I bet they sold it for like mad money.
You know what? I hope they did. Yeah. So CBD used to stand for Christian Book Distributors, right? And so they had a catalog, almost like a mailing catalog. If you ever got the Champ Sports catalog... it was very similar where they would send out, just a monthly thing with like all these different things. And you could either mail in your order, but you could also then go online. And so, before CBD became a thing that was so ubiquitous, right, they had CBD.com for Christian Book Distributors. And that's where I would go through when it came to like holiday time, stuff like that. I would like pick out the CDs. I think we talked about this on another episode where, it was Christmas time and my mom and dad would be like, okay, you can get 3 CDs from Christian Books.
We said number 1, Bahamut. Number 2, Aaron Carter.
No, they didn't. They didn't have those in the Christian book. They were trying to focus my energies. I would get things like Thousand Foot Crutch or really solid albums like that. Maybe a Phenomenon. I don't know. Maybe a Toby Mac if he had a new album out or
Momentum,
something like that, right? But that's how it used to work, right? It was before you had Amazon and things like that. Yeah. I guess you technically had Amazon, but it was just an easy way that like you were getting this catalog every month. It's like, oh, let's see the new shirts, and whatever was in season, right? They would have a new shirt that was like a Christian parody, and it could be the Reese's logo, or it could be Abercrombie and Fitch, right? Like. It just really depended. It was faster fashion than H&M. Let's just say, like the turnaround time on those parody designs was pretty quick. Yeah, and to me, parody art, I think it's like somewhat protected, I guess, but it just also seems weird to me that it just be so blatant that like you look at it from far away and you think it's something else. I'm not sure that intends that like that meets the the fair use clause of parody. But I'm not a parody lawyer, so I just always thought that was pretty funny.
So we have we've compiled some images after a brief search of either shirts that we definitely remember people wearing or that we thought were funny and like, of the same, type. And we're going to go through them and we'll say whether or not we'd be willing to wear them.
Okay.
And so the first one is it's the Air Jordan logo is what it's a parody of.
Except the silhouette has sandals and a robe and flowing hair.
And it says Air Jesus, the ultimate high. And then it says Romans
10:9.
10:9 there. Why don't you read that verse for us?
Sure. Let's read Romans 10:9. It's also important to note that Jesus is dunking a basketball. Except the basketball is
the globe. It's a globe, yeah. He's got the whole world in his hands, is what they're saying.
Yeah, the Romans 10:9 is, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved.
And then that's essentially Jesus dunking on Satan. That's what that verse is implying?
Yeah. I guess. So, like, that's another thing about these Christian shirts, right? That, like, I think they thought of the parody first.
Very tenuous. That verse has nothing to do with that logo.
Yeah, no, it's like... You can they definitely went for the parody first.
I mean, I could maybe if it was like the verse that's like, it'll lift you up on the wings of eagles or something, like maybe that would be
right
a little closer to what they were going for there, but that, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just Jesus is dunking on Satan. Romans 10:9, baby.
Genesis 1:1. A breadcrumb and fish.
and Jesus threw it down, and there was much rejoicing.
Hey, listen, I mean, again, the silhouette's pretty awesome, and I wish I could find that shirt somewhere because it's super cool.
I would wear this one. This one is funny. I would wear that one for sure.
Are you looking?
Air Jesus.
Oh, yes,
I would wear Air Jesus for
sure. Going down to the next one, another common. There are a lot of variations on this one, so... this isn't the one that I remember, but it's the Lord's Gym, and Jesus appears to be in a push-up position, bench pressing doing a push-up with the sin of the world on his back. And so it's in the style of Gold's Gym, and it says in a very spirally font, bench press this. which I feel like is a weird tagline. This one doesn't have a Bible verse on it here.
They weren't trying as hard.
They weren't trying as hard. It's just fascinating to me that, I don't know, that they'd bother putting this Lord's Gym logo and they couldn't be bothered to find a Bible verse with a tenuous link on this. The design is cool. Definitely Gold's Gym. It's not a tank top, so like everyone knows like the Gold's Gym, it's like that stringy type of tank top that you wear as you get totally jacked, but this one doesn't.
It could have been like, you're totally yoked if you're huge and jacked. They could have been like, do not be unequally yoked or something. Yeah. I don't know. They could have taken the Bible verse out of context. Yeah, it has nothing to do with that, but do not be unequally yoked as
yoked
huge.
Like huge. Yeah. No, Jesus is pretty ripped in this one. His shoulders are pretty massive from bench pressing the sins of the world.
There's one that we didn't put on here, but I'll just mention quickly, and it's Jesus, and he's totally jacked, and he's ripping the arms of the cross off while his hands are still nailed to it. I don't remember what it said, but it was like he's on the cross and he rips off, the right and the left hand sides because he's so jacked.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The Jack Jesus was definitely a trope. I referenced this sort of before, but a bread, crumb, and fish as the Abercrombie.
This one I 100% remember, and I remember people having it. And it was like totally would catch people off guard because it was close enough and it was in the same style as what an Abercrombie shirt would look like and stuff. It was that one was whoever came up with that one, A+.
They really nailed the look of Abercrombie, I think.
Yeah.
And I'd like to point out on this one, just because we've just finished talking about this, but they not only have the Bible verse in here, but they actually have the entire passage of that. So it's he took the bread and the fish and he gave it to them, things like that. It's in a cursive font and it's really small, but it is the full verse on there and it's relevant.
If someone took the time to get super close to your chest and read it, they could.
Yeah, that's definitely not as cool. The next one I remember, so that was a popular one for
would you wear a breadcrumb and fish right now?
Right now, no.
Yeah. Nope, neither would I.
No one even wears Abercrombie.
Yeah,
so, they wouldn't even get it. Like, you would ask an 18-year-old, be like, hey, what's this a parody of? They'd be like,
So, question. Do you like girls that wear a breadcrumb and fish?
Awesome. I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
No, I got you.
At least you got it.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, I just
okay.
I just have to do a triple think until to make sure I don't say anything weird.
That's all right.
Yeah, so as far as the breadcrumb and fish, I'm going to give that a thumbs down. I don't think that one I would not wear.
We forgot to do the Gold's Gym. Would you wear it? It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, I'm going to say because the version we're doing specifically Christian tees, it is not
Christian tank top.
Yeah, it's not a Christian bib, so I'm going to say no on that one. So we have 2 passes so far.
But Air Jesus, though.
Jesus, that's
There's also one that looks like that you have skipped over, and it was the math one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He is greater than I.
But it's written as like I, the constant I.
Yes, the
lowercase I. Yeah, for anyone unfamiliar with higher math.
Yeah, I always notice this one because this always I guess it did its job of making me notice it. Yeah. I never quite liked it, but I saw it a lot.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't think it's that clever. Even
it's
just I definitely remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a recovering nerd and a math geek, I guess I appreciated seeing symbols on there. I like the college geeky shirts better that had weird equations on them. And, you had a lot more Greek letters to do puns with.
Yeah.
And to me, the greater than sign and the lowercase I is just not cool enough to feel it. It's not
enough to warrant.
Yeah, it's not quite a nerd joke, and it kind of is obvious once you get it. So I'm saying pass on that one.
Pass on that one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next one. This is a parody of a Reese's peanut butter cups, and instead of Reese's, it says Jesus, and then it says "Sweet Savior, King of Kings."
Was that from a song? Or are those just Christian?
I don't Sweet Savior is definitely just a play on it being a candy bar.
Yeah.
King of Kings is just, that's one of Jesus' titles, his many titles.
I like how I do like it from a design standpoint. I like how they turned the Reese's wrapper into a crown looking device.
Yeah, pretty good.
I think the design on this is pretty good.
This one is definitely the wording is not that clever, but the logo is right on.
Right. The logo is solid.
Yeah, the logo, the parody logo is good. The content of the shirt is fine, but not, it's not a breadcrumb and fish,
This is borderline for me, but I'm still going to say no, only because
I wouldn't, no.
I just don't like the brand shirts from Kohl's or whatever anyways. So
exactly.
Just not my style, you know what I mean?
This one, if you want to maybe make that a little bit larger. The next one is a parody of Heinz Ketchup. It says ketchup with Jesus.
That's a psalm reference.
Yeah, Psalm 37:4.
Okay.
And then, so let me read the full thing. It says ketchup with Jesus. They didn't spell ketchup like the food, which I feel is a missed opportunity. It says ketchup with Jesus. And then, hold on. I have a problem with this shirt, okay? At the beginning, it says ketchup with Jesus. Ketchup is spelled correctly. It's not spelled like the food. It's spelled catch up. Under that, it says, let us pray, and lettuce is spelled like the food instead of let us. Make up your mind.
No,
one or either both foods or both not foods.
You know what Jesus said about people being lukewarm? He's
That's right.
Gonna
Take
spit
a
them
side.
out. Yeah.
So it says, catch up with Jesus, let us pray and relish him, because he blesses me from my head to my toes. And it's tomatoes, but it's spelled with 2 MA toes. So once again, this shirt says, catch up with Jesus, let us praise and relish him, because he blesses me from my head to my toes. And then Psalm 37:4. And if you could bring that verse up afterwards.
It says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So I think he was talking about ketchup. It's a very tenuous link.
That one's better than the one that was like completely out of nowhere, than the Air Jesus or whatever.
I just find it weird to think about.
Yeah.
There's some people out there who love ketchup so much and Jesus so much.
Have you ever met someone from Pittsburgh? Heinz Ketchup. They're real into Heinz Ketchup, man.
I get that it's a thing, but it's just so odd for me to think of, like, when you talk about the desires of your heart, like the things that you think of, it's like, oh yes, ketchup. That's in there too.
Also,
friends, family, health, ketchup.
Let me
all the
just say
important
that
things.
This is unrelated, but I was reminded of it as we were talking about Heinz Ketchup. One time I was at a restaurant and they had Heinz mustard and French's ketchup.
Oh no.
I was like, why? Why listen, I would understand if they had like Heinz mustard, Heinz ketchup, or both, but they were like, hey, let's get the non-name brand version of the name brand. So like, instead of French's mustard, we're gonna get Heinz mustard, and instead of Heinz ketchup, we're gonna get French's ketchup.
Was that locally?
I don't remember where it was. I just remember being offended by it, and I just needed to bring it up. And if I knew the name of them, I would drag them right now.
You know what? I just think that if you delight yourself in the Lord, Jared, that he will give you the desires of your heart, which may include
Heinz
name brand
ketchup,
Heinz
French's
ketchup
mustard.
and French's mustard.
Good.
Okay.
Would you wear this shirt?
This to me seems like a mom shirt. This is mom core.
This is classic mom.
Yeah. A mom would love this if she's not thinking about.
Get this for you. If you haven't gotten your mom a present for Mother's Day or her birthday or Christmas or whatever holiday is next up, get her this shirt.
So I'm saying no for me,
no,
but yes for
me.
it's a yes purchase for my mom.
Yeah, for sure. And I have a problem with the way that they have spelled this, and I wish they would change one or both of the spellings to match, but yeah, it's a mom. Yes for a mom.
Yes for a mom. You would see it on a youth leader at a retreat for sure.
Maybe I'll buy one and give it to my wife when she gives birth to our first child.
That's
at some point.
I think that's
a great. You're a mom now. Here's this mom shirt.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Some people get blankets that are knitted. Yeah. Other people get Ketchup Christian shirts.
Okay, so this next shirt...
I don't remember this one.
So this is a shirt that I actually had. Okay, so this is the closest approximation to the shirt that I could find. It was not exact this. It was a shirt, and it was a picture of Jesus. And the picture of Jesus that it is like the most common picture. If you've ever been into a Catholic person's house, they have this picture of Jesus. Okay, it's classic. Brown hair, blue-eyed Jesus with long hair, okay, and he's like looking off to the side. Everyone knows the picture I'm describing right now. And in this on this shirt that I had, I got it at a thrift store for like $1, possibly the best dollar I ever spent. It's that picture of Jesus, and he has on Beats by Dre headphones, and that was it. Didn't say anything. Didn't have any Bible verses. Yeah. It was just, here's a picture of Jesus wearing headphones. And I love that shirt. I would definitely wear this shirt if I could find it and if it still fit me. One time I was wearing this shirt. I was out and about on the town in Philadelphia after a rugby tournament. Someone stopped me and they were like, "Hey man, can I get a picture of your shirt?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I thought he was like going to take a picture of me wearing the shirt. Yeah. Instead, he just like got up real close to my chest and took a picture of it. And I was like, "Okay, this is fine," but it was weird. It was not what I was expecting or whatever. But yeah, it was, that was my chance. Someone came up to me and I could have talked to them about Jesus.
You could have.
I blew it. But I'm going to redeem myself later in the podcast.
Okay.
That was not the story that I teased. There's a better one.
Okay. No, that's, I think there's some value in that subtlety, right? Because my big gripe with some of these is it's very much beat you in the face with this type of, like, okay, yes, how do you know it's a Christian shirt? Well, there's a Bible verse on it. Despite it being totally irrelevant to the shirt, there's a Bible verse on it. That one is just like, huh. Yeah. Is this like religious or sacrilegious or like respectful or like... Is this an art statement? Like, it definitely gets you thinking, and I think that's good art.
So let me put this question to you: would you wear that shirt?
Yeah, I think that's a yeah.
I mean,
if you got a stranger to take notice, I think that's pretty cool.
It's a sweet shirt, and I wish I could find it, and also that it still fit me because neither one of those are true. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. All right, so this next one.
Arguably the most famous Christian shirt.
I will say that is probably true, at least for our age group, because certainly those other ones were more popular with moms and stuff. But like you would see, in fact, in this picture, Ashton Kutcher is wearing the shirt and has the same saying on a hat that he's wearing, and it says, "Jesus is my homeboy." And I for sure remember seeing this in like Hot Topic or PacSun or maybe both. Okay, and I definitely remember like seeing people have this shirt and stuff. I probably would wear it now.
Was it supposed to be like? I still to this day don't really understand why people connected with that, other than it was saying like homeboy is kind of a funny word to associate with.
I think that was the joke. I think the joke was just that, like. Instead of saying, like, Jesus is just all right with me, you were like, Jesus is my homeboy. Uh-huh. Yeah.
There were a lot of people who wore that in my school who I didn't even know would consider themselves Christians. Yeah. So it was just very confusing.
It was weird because it was like the type of shirt that you would, like, that someone might wear to, like, mock a Christian, but, like, a Christian might wear sincerely and stuff. So it was, like, kind of a...
maybe both sides, and having it in Hot Topic like really muddied the waters, especially with how I felt about Hot Topic.
Unrelated to this, but like one time there was this kid at my high school who had an OC Supertone shirt on, which is a Christian ska band for anyone that didn't know, and he is not someone that I would associate with being a Christian, and so I was real confused of why he had that shirt on or how he'd even heard of them.
Right.
And he was like wearing it ironically, and I was like, cool, so me and you are the only people that have ever heard of this band. I was like, good
and
joke.
I know it from youth group.
Yeah, good joke, man.
It was a time.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. So I intentionally chose this next shirt to be having a good
follow up
as a good follow up.
So the picture we had, Jesus is my homeboy, Ashton Kutcher is wearing it. Yep. Below this, Mike has chosen a shirt that says, Satan, you've been punked. And it's the logo for Punked, which, for anyone that doesn't know, was hosted by Ashton Kutcher.
That one, to me, like, it was just funny to me that, like, I think there's an element of that. I selected this, and we don't have to talk about this as an actual shirt, but the picture I put underneath it was Bobby Hill, who very famously in the King of the Hill episode, where Bobby Hill like gets really into like youth group cool culture.
It gets into like Christian rock music or something.
And so it's arguably one of the best episodes of King of the Hill in my opinion. But the shirt that Bobby has is Satan sucks. And like I think that was funny because
it's written in like
Slayer font.
Slayer or Metallica style font like that.
So to me, like Satan, you've been punked captures a little bit of that spirit of like it was kind of edgy to like say Satan sucks.
Also, that's like the ultimate punk is Jesus says, "Oh, you got me, I died," and then he comes back, punked.
It's hard to explain if you haven't seen the show, right? Like it was like a prank show, you know. It's like implying that the resurrection is the greatest prank of all time. Like, you know, it's just like the games that just God plays with Satan, like every time. It's like, haha, gotcha. Thought you won, gotcha.
Hope you enjoyed those 3 days.
Just funny to me. So for me, Jesus is my homeboy. I think I had one. I think I wore it. I said yes for that reason.
Yes, I would wear that one.
Yeah, the Satan, you've been punked.
I think I might wear that one. I don't know. I think that one's kind of funny.
I think it's kind of funny,
especially if you get to tell someone that the resurrection is the greatest prank of all time.
Just such a goofy way of looking at it, I guess. So we don't have to talk about Bobby Hill and Satan sucks, but I just wanted to reference that because it was like in the same spirit.
Oh man, I had a story I wanted to tell, but it has lost me, and we're about to get into like the big, the great thing that we have planned. Yeah. So, all right. So, to preface this, the next series of shirts that we are going to talk about are all like the same like tone or whatever. I had one of these shirts. There was a brand, and as far as we can tell, there still is a brand. It is a Christian MMA brand. So MMA is mixed martial arts, like the UFC. It is owned by the Green Ranger from Power Rangers. It's owned by Tommy, the Green Ranger from the coolest Power Ranger. He is a Christian MMA fighter now. He owns this brand. He has it tattooed on his forearm. The brand is called Jesus Didnt Tap, as in implying Jesus didn't tap out. So, in these shirts,
Jesus is ripped again.
Yeah, this is definitely ripped Jesus. This is peak ripped Jesus. Okay, so
Jesus definitely made weight for his UFC match with the devil.
Yeah. So all of these shirts have. I'll just describe them. So the first one, it says ground and pound 7 days a week. So ground and pound is like a style of fighting in MMA where you would take someone to the ground and you just stand on top of them and like rain blows down on them, right? And in the picture, it's a picture of ripped Jesus, and he has Satan on the ground, and he's holding him by the neck with one hand, and he has his fist up, and he has a halo around him, and he's wearing a robe, and Satan is like crying out in agony, and he's like punching him. So that's one.
That's a very aggressive Jesus. Yeah. Like typically in these things, you know, you see Jesus being somber and maybe like sincere or like, you know, feeling pain. In this one, he's clearly the aggressor.
I just want to point out that a lot of people think that Jesus is like this real meek person, and he literally made a whip and took it into started flipping over tables and said, "Not in my house."
This is whip of course Jesus.
This is Jesus says, "No more changing money in my house."
Right. I like how they gave him robes, even though that's not MMA compliant. Now Satan seems to be.
Now in the first for a while the UFC, you were allowed to wear gis and things like that. So like Hoist Gracie in UFC 1 fought the whole match in a gi, and it immediately came off because you can't keep them on or whatever. But technically, Jesus would have been allowed to wear that depending on which fight.
Depending on the year, yeah.
And Jesus, he was before UFC 1, so he's probably good. Anyway, next one, it says, break your bad habits. And it has Jesus, and he has Satan in an arm bar, and it is implying that he is going to break his arm. Like you should break your bad habits. Okay, now the next one, I'm going to skip that one and go down to the one below it. So skip the white one and go to the black one below it because they're going to tie into each other. Okay. So this one is the most insane one, I think. And what it is it's a picture, it's a silhouette of Jesus on the cross. Okay? And it says, Jesus didn't tap. And then there's a shadow on the ground. So it's Jesus on the cross, and then the shadow on the ground is someone in an arm bar. And so the way that this arm bar is happening is that there is one person laying one direction, and the other person is laying perpendicular to them. So the shape that their body is making is a cross. So Jesus is on the cross, and then there's a shadow of an arm bar happening that's also in the shape of a cross.
Is that guy wearing a business suit?
It's hard to tell because they're all shadows.
Okay.
I'm going to say probably not, but who knows?
Yeah, okay. It just looks like it's a shadow of a tie on him.
In the shirt that we skipped it's the same picture, right? Jesus on the cross, shadow of an arm bar. And when we found this one, the description of it says, a shirt that I found in a thrift store. And it says, putting the Jew in jiu-jitsu, which is not a Jesus Didn't Tap brand shirt, but kind of funny, we thought. And it was the same picture.
It really is going a couple layers deep where, it's almost like the Christian parody artists just can't help themselves. They see a Christian shirt and it's already a Christian shirt, and they're like, I gotta parody that.
It's a Russian nesting doll parody shirts.
It's just a compulsion.
And then the last one, it says, put your demons to rest, and Jesus has Satan in a sleeper hold, and he's putting him to sleep. So I didn't have any of these shirts. The shirt that I had, all it said Jesus Didn't Tap on the front of it, and then on the back, do you have the thing that lists on the back? Okay.
Let me pull up the back here.
On the front, Jesus Didn't Tap. It's red and yellow. Okay, this is a brand that before the UFC was sponsored by Reebok or whatever, and they were allowed to have fighters were allowed to have their own endorsements or whatever. There was at least one major fighter that was endorsed by Jesus Didn't Tap. I believe it was Keith Jardine, Mean Jardine, but I could be wrong about that. And he had Jesus Didn't Tap right across his butt on his shorts. So my shirt, Jesus Didn't Tap, it's red and yellow, real big, and then on the back, go ahead, Mike. Read the back. It's a list of things. Go ahead and read them.
There's 7 things, and this shirt retailed for $19.99.
Best $20 I ever spent.
Yep. And so number 1, it says, "My goal is to destroy yours," which is a great number 1. That
number
got
1. My goal is to destroy yours.
That's awesome. So number 2, it says, "One nation under God."
Yep. Number 2, one nation under God. Keep going.
Number 3, opponents cringe before me. As soon as they hear of me, they submit.
Okay, now that, I believe it's attributed to no submit, right? That is not true. That is a Bible verse. That is from Psalm 18, and they did not attribute it
If you're being technical, one nation under God, too.
Yeah.
They need to properly...
I know. That's also not... But, so all of these are attributed to No Submit, which was like the company that made Jesus Didn't Tap or whatever. But really bold of them to just be like, hey, I know David wrote this, but we're taking credit for it.
It's just also weird to do half Bible verses and half No Submit saying.
As if it wasn't all Bible verses and then one thing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Like if you're gonna have 7 here, just like pick the 3 Bible verses on there that you want to put. Yeah. Like don't mix and match here. And it's like if they like, I would expect them to round out this list with like number 8, just like a Benjamin Franklin quote or something. It's like stick with one. Like
saved is a penny
penny saved is a penny earned. Like okay, who said this quote? Was it No Submit or the Bible? Okay, no, it was Ben Franklin.
Okay.
So number 4, I ground and pounded them as fine as the dust of the earth and swept them into the gutter like dirt.
That's also from Psalm 18.
Attributed to No Submit, though.
Still straight up plagiarism.
Well, I'm okay. So this could be that they didn't want to, there's somewhat out of context.
So you're saying they didn't want to attribute everything to Psalm 18 because it's the same thing. They're Psalm 18 verse 37, Psalm 18 verse 38.
Yeah. Like maybe it's something like
just
that.
Just put the whole passage and just, I don't know.
Or also the fact that I was alluding to is that maybe they're sensitive about adding or taking away things from the Bible because it doesn't say I grounded and pounded them, right? In the psalm, right? Ground and pound is a UFC term.
It says I ground them as fine as dust and pour
so they added and pounded, right? So I think that they may have been hesitant to ascribe something that's
fair enough.
If you figure someone is not a Christian, they'd be like, "Wow, the Bible talks about MMA." And they'd be like, "Actually, no." So I don't think they want to bear false witness.
What's the next one?
Number 5, you made them turn and run. I have destroyed all who hated me.
Also Psalm 18.
It says 2 Samuel 22:41.
So, interesting thing, those passages, Psalm 18 and 2 Samuel, they're exactly the same, word for word.
Okay. So I'll take your word for it.
I've looked it up before. They're essentially exactly the same. It's like David wrote this psalm and then he was like, hey, check this out in the history of Samuel. Check out this thing I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, number 6, I chased down my enemies and destroyed them. I did not stop until they were conquered.
Also Psalm 18.
Also
2 Samuel. Yeah.
Yep. Number 7, I struck them down so they did not get up. They fell beneath my feet.
Also Psalm 18.
Also 2 Samuel.
Yeah.
So
really what they could have just put is Psalm 18/2 Samuel on the back of this shirt and then put also the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And been done with it. Called it a day.
The product link says Jesus didn't tap words to live by. So
okay. So the story with this shirt is I had this shirt, I would wear it to school, and people would always be like, Jesus didn't tap what? And the suggestions I heard were tap dance, which I thought that was the strangest one. Then they were like, you mean like tap a keg? And I was like, no. I was like, he literally like turned water into wine. So, I mean, sounds like he's probably down to tap a keg or a cask or whatever. And then the other one was like, tap that. And I was like, no, it means like tap out. So I had to explain to people, it was like, it means Jesus didn't tap out. It was like, he could have called down, angels to save him and been like, peace out, nerds, I'm out of here. And didn't have to die for our sins, but went and also didn't want to if we were, he's like, please don't make me do this. God said, you have to. And he said, all right.
Right. So he didn't tap. He went all in, basically.
Yeah. He didn't tap out. And then he got to play the greatest prank in the world.
It's just a prank, bro. Just a prank, bro. No, so there's also a song that went with Jesus Didn't Tap too.
Yeah, so there was a song. It was a rap song called Jesus Didn't Tap. Me and my friends were way into this and use it to like get hyped up. I don't know if it's still around and can be found, but yeah.
I bet we can find it.
Yeah, we can maybe post a link to it later if you're still interested in hearing this
It was a great song.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
baller song. I
Yeah.
mean, this was in like the peak era, not peak era of UFC, but it was definitely like becoming
Yeah.
more and more well known.
Yeah.
And as they started to figure out how to like brand themselves and
Yeah.
market themselves, like there's definitely that element
This
of like
this brand was probably around 2008, 2009 is probably when it kind of started.
yeah,
So
like being a tough fighter,
so not peak UFC, but like it was like when they were starting to rebuild and become prominent and getting to where they are today.
yeah, it's
Kind of the start of that era, I guess. Yeah.
It's just a very interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem with it, but I do know some people who had issues with MMA when it came out because of like the violence or whatever. And I get that, if your kid is going to be dropping, arm bars on their little sister, like this is probably not a good
Kimura,
fit for them.
Guillotine.
Right. You're probably not going to want them to watch stuff like that. But there were a non-zero number of parents who didn't feel that MMA or UFC was very Christian. So this was a totally,
and then
this was very edgy.
And then we also had in our youth group, our youth advisors would invite us over to watch UFC fights until like 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it was fun, and it was like an interesting juxtaposition. And now you do have some UFC MMA fighters, who claim to be Christians and things like that.
Yeah.
So like they definitely, I think, that was kind of blazing a trail for people to like take those extreme positions, not extreme positions, but like make a name for themselves with like, this is who I am, and this is how people will remember me as a fighter because this is what I stand for.
Yeah. So that's our. Last question. Would you wear any of these Jesus Didnt Tap shirts?
Yes, I would wear all of them because
heck yeah.
Yeah, because
they're great.
They're great and they're cartoony enough that like you don't have to question whether or not they're serious.
Pick your favorite if you have one. Mine is definitely Jesus on the cross, the shadow armbar, Jesus Didnt Tap. That's my favorite one.
I think that one is great.
Yeah.
I think that I like the one that's like put your demons to rest, where Satan's in a sleeper hold, because of like the double
break
pun
your bad
there.
habits.
Like I think that one's pretty good. Like it's pretty obvious what's going on, and it's cartoony and campy enough that it's like fun. That like you didn't have to like be taking a super strong stance on something. It's just kind of like, you can wear this, but it's not like a parody where it's like that's kind of cheesy. It's just like it is what it is. It's not trying to be cool. It's not trying to be like a parody.
Also, this will if the intention was to get someone to come up to you and ask you about the shirt, that's the shirt that'll do it.
Yeah,
the Reese's one, the breadcrumb and fish one, you're probably not going to get it done. That picture and that phrase will get the job done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if you have any Christian t-shirts that you'd like us to take a look at, make fun of, or enjoy, or you disagree strongly with our ratings,
or I said the wrong name of the MMA move and you want to tell me how wrong I am.
Sure. Or who owns CBD.com and you'd like to transfer that over.
Or we found out that JesusDidntTap.com was apparently available, but we were unable to buy it. So if you want to sell that to us, or JesusDidnt.Tap.
Yes, once that comes out, we'll be ready. So if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, smart remarks, additions to add, you can hit us up on Gmail at youthgroupreuniontour@gmail.com, or on our socials at youthgroupreuniontour on Instagram, and on Twitter at YGReunionTour.
All right, that'll do it for today. I'm Jared.
And I'm Mikey B.
See you later. See you later.